This is the whole setup for SQL Server Management Studio with nothing cut out. By the end, you will have it installed, connected to a live server, and a real database restored and ready to query. First, what it actually is. Management Studio is not a database. It is the client you use to connect to a SQL server, browse what is inside it, and run queries against it. Get it from the Microsoft Learn Install page and nowhere else. That download button does not hand you the program either. It hands you a small stub. The stub opens the Visual Studio installer. Management Studio ships through it now, and there is no standalone installer package anymore, which is why you are looking at this window and not a simple setup wizard. Here are the optional workloads. Ignore all of them for now. The one thing you actually need is already ticked on the right, SSMS core components, and that is the tool itself. Two and a half gigabytes, 219 packages. Press install and it starts pulling them down. This part takes a few minutes, so let me use it. The single most common mistake is right here. Installing Management Studio does not install a SQL server. You are installing the steering wheel, not the engine. There's nothing to connect to yet. So what do you point it at? 4 normal answers. A SQL server on your network, SQL Server Express on your own machine, a container or a database up in Azure. Version compatibility catches people out too. This release manages SQL Server 2014 and later. If you look after something older than that, keep an older copy of Management Studio around for it. Done. It asks you to restart Windows, and you should. That clears the file still locked from the install. Which brings us to the bit the card is pointing at. You still need the engine, and for learning that means SQL Server Express. It is free, it runs locally, and it is the same database engine with a cap on size and memory. Management Studio is installed and the engine is running, so now we connect the two and restore a real database. This machine is a Windows virtual machine running SQL Server Express. The connect dialog wants a server name. When the instance is a name one like Express, the format is machine name / instance name. A plain machine name on its own will not find it. Windows authentication means it signs in as you, so there is no password to type. Below that, encryption is on by default now, so on a local box you usually have to tick Trust Server Certificate. If the connection is refused, this is where you go. Configuration Manager. 2 things to check. The SQL Server service is actually running, and the TCP/IP protocol is enabled for that instance. With the service up, connect again. Same server name, same authentication. That tree on the left is Object Explorer, and it is the whole tool really. Databases at the top, then security, server objects, replication, and management underneath. System databases are the 4 the engine needs for itself: master, model, tempdb, and msdb. Leave them alone. Your own databases sit above them in the same folder. A blank server is not much use for practice, so we need real data. Northwind still comes up in every search, but it is decades old and tiny. AdventureWorks is the current sample. This page lists them as backup files. Take the OLTP one that matches your server version. There is a lightweight version and a full one, and either is fine for learning. What you get is a .boc file. That is a backup, not a database, so you cannot just open it or double-click it. It has to be restored into the server. Right-click Databases, then Restore Database. Change the source from database to device because we are restoring from a file rather than from something the server already knows about. No backup set selected to be restored. That red line just means we have not pointed it at a file yet. Click the three dots to go and find one. Now the part that catches almost everybody. This browser is not showing your computer. It is showing the file system of the machine the server is running on. And here, that is the virtual machine. It also has to be somewhere the SQL Server service account is allowed to read. The backup folder inside the instance directory is already set up for exactly that, so put the file there. So copy the backup across into that folder first. Once it is sitting there, the locate dialog can see it and the file name stops being grayed out. Select it, confirm the target database name, and press OK. The restore itself takes a few seconds. There it is. Refresh databases and the restored database is in the tree with all of its tables under it. Open a new query, select from any of those tables, and you get rows back. That is a working install, a live connection, and real data to practice on.